Hello, everyone, and welcome to our regulatory update meeting for August 2025. Thank you for being here. So today, in our meeting, we will cover the latest regulatory update regarding medical devices and IVD in 6 countries: Sri Lanka, India, South Africa, Malaysia, Thailand, and China. In our first country today, Sri Lanka, the updates will be related to the consolidated registration dossier. So here we walk you through the National Medicine Regulatory Authority recent announcement regarding this new application submission process for medical devices. So this change is effective since the 5th of this month, 5th of August, and introduces a consolidated dossier as the only accepted format for new application. What is a consolidated dossier? A consolidated dossier means applicant will now prepare one comprehensive submission. It includes the manufacturing site application, the product registration dossier, and where relevant, the sample import license. So this format reduces the application and improves efficiency in the evaluation process. Now, what documents are required for that consolidated registration dossier? So the applicant must prepare a dossier that contains some administrative documents, such as letters of authorization and declarations, a technical evidence, including free cell certificate, GMP or ISO certificate, and QMS compliance. And in addition to that, and all the previous documents, device-specific reports are also required, ranging from risk analysis, clinical data to sterility validation and instruction for use. Now, special attention is required for patient information leaflet, which must be provided in Sinhala, Tamil, and English for point-of-care devices. So, also, in the same update, the NMRA has introduced a reliance pathway. So this allows faster processing for devices already approved and recognized jurisdiction, such as the USA, UK, Australia, Canada, Japan. And for IVD, Singapore is also included. In our second country today, India, the update is related to the CDSCO, or the Indian Authority of Medical Devices. It's about frequently asked question document or guideline. So here we walk you through some important clarification that the CDSCO has issued in 2 frequent asked question addenda for the medical devices rules 2017. Now, the first one came out on April of this year, and the second one later in July. Here I've extracted the key question and answer from both documents and grouped them by subject. So this way you will have like a more clear picture of how these updates affect the manufacturer, importer, or registration holder. We'll see. First one, this is one of the most common questions in India about Indian regulation for medical device. It is whether biocompatibility testing is needed for all devices. So the authority clarified, only if the device has direct or indirect body contact. It must be done as per ISO 10993 standard. If you're already done if you already done it for a similar device and the material, supplier, and process are the same, you can reuse that data with proper justification and biological risk assessment. But if there is any change in, for example, supplier, material, or process, you must revalidate. So also, if there is any complaint or adverse events that are reported, the authority would expect a fresh for-cause testing. So yes, it's mandatory where contact exists, but CDSCO is also being practical about avoiding duplicate testing. This is regarding the biocompatibility testing. Now, another question was whether manufacturer can release sterilized devices based on parametric release without testing each batch. So the authority says yes, as long as the sterilization process has been validated under the proper BIS or ISO standards. So these include EO sterilization, gamma sterilization, and steam sterilization. So if the process is validated and you maintain a regular revalidation of the parametric release, the parametric release is permitted. This is a good clarification because it gives like kind of flexibility while keeping strict control over sterilization quality. Now, the authority also cleared up what happens when a company changes its structure, like merger or ownership change or moving from a firm to a company. The rule is simple. A fresh license is required in that case. So for manufacturer, they should apply within 100, like the timeline to apply different from manufacturer 180 days. For importer, they should notify the authority within 30 days and then apply within 180 days. For registration holder or license holder, the timeline is stricter, so only 90 days. During this transition period, the old license or the registration remains valid until the authority either grants or rejects the new application. So we don't have to assume that the old license is enough after a structural change, and this must be taken into account. Now in the July addendum, the authority gave clarity on re-import and outsourcing. So for re-import, if you bring back a device into India, the port office along with the zonal CDSCO office decide whether the lab testing is required before clearance. So it's not automatic. It's case by case. Now, for outsourcing activity, obviously, like coating, engraving, or batch testing, they are permitted, they are allowed, but you must get a no objection NOC document or no objection certificate from the authority, and you need to provide supporting document like license agreement with the overseas partner and device detail. So yes, outsourcing is possible, but you need the authority clearance first. Labeling is another important point. For imported devices, the label must comply with the Rule 44, and it should leave, like for the imported, as we said, it should leave space for India-specific information, which can be added by sticker later. However, for domestically manufactured devices, there is no shortcut. The label has to already meet all the Indian requirements before the device is marketed. So this ensures that users always get the right information, no matter where the product is manufactured. Let's see if we have more question. Frequently asked question. Yes, one more. This is the last one. It's about the free sale certificate. So the authority sets clear expectation for class A and B. You need FSC from a reference country. If that is not available, the authority will accept an FSC from another alternative country of origin, but it needs safety and performance data. And in the case of Class C and D devices, also, if there is no the FSC, if not approved in those reference country, you'd have to run a clinical investigation in India in addition to this FSC from non-reference country. So the higher the risk class, the stricter the evidence requirements, of course. Now, we move to South Africa, and the update we have here two updates to discuss. The first one is about licensing of medical device establishment, and the second one is related to adverse events reporting. So for the first one, we will be comparing two official guideline documents issued by the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, or SAPRA. Now, the first one is the third version of this guideline that was issued on November 2023. And this one that we'll discuss today is the second version, the version 4, dated May 2025. Now, both cover licensing of medical device establishment, but the 2025 version brings a notable update and changes. And our goal today is to highlight only what is new, what has changed, what has been removed. So let's go through that. The first. So first thing, application forms. The codes have changed. In 2023, they were numbered like 6.21, 6.22, 6.26. Now, they have been modernized into GLFMD 06A, 06B, 06. It's important because anyone applying with the old forms would risk delays. So it's important to change. It's an important change for the industry to note. The new application form should be used. In the old version, notification had to be sent to a separate notification email. Now, in the 2025 one, that's simplified, and all the submission, including notification, go to this email, MD admin. Now, if it's a COVID-related application, that must be an addition copied or CC'd to this the other email, MD COVID. Now, the distinction between notification and amendment is sharpened now in this new version of 2025. Notification are light touch updates like adding products in the same class, while amendments involve bigger changes like company details or activity. So in addition, fees for amendment used to be listed in the guideline, and it was in the old version as equivalent, the amount was 5,000, 5,300 R. Now in this new version, they are not anymore listed, and instead of that, it's point to government gazette. So the government gazette should be consulted for every time to find the updated amount to pay. In addition, this new version introduced a full renewal process, which was missing before. It does not mean that this renewal process was not applicable. It was. It's just that now it is clearly mentioned, not only relying on practice, it is clearly mentioned and listed in the guideline. So renewal must be submitted 90 days before the expiry date. Otherwise, the license lapses and new application would be required. The amendment can't be bundled with renewal, but set very clearly. They come afterward. The renewal dossier must include updated document and ISO 13485, if applicable. And the authority allow only 2 rounds of review. So applicant must be complete and responsive. That's regarding the renewal. Now, this is one of the biggest addition in this updated version regarding exporter, which now can apply for CFS. It's valid for a year and confirms that devices are legally sold in South Africa and requires both ISO 13485 certification and proof of pre-market approval for higher risk devices. So importantly, it's a quick process now, just 15 days if the submission is complete. Now let's move to the second update in South Africa today, which is related, as we said before, to adverse event reporting. And this was a stakeholder communication released by the SAPRA on July. It provides updated contact detail for 2 important areas, for vigilance reporting for adverse events and communication of recalls or market action related to medical devices or IVD. It is an official directive that stakeholders must follow. So the first instruction concerns adverse event, as we say, reporting. All license holders who identify a reportable adverse event with the medical device or IVD must submit it directly to the vigilance unit via this email that you can see in the slide. And this process is part of the SAHPGL MD03 Vigilance Adverse Event Reporting. The vigilance like guideline and ensure proper monitoring of the device safety. So this is like the updated contact for reporting the adverse event. And in addition, for the recalls, the communication makes clear that if a license holder is considering corrective action in the markets, like for example, correcting a product, removing it from the market, or notifying user of a problem, they must first contact the regulatory compliance unit. This step, like this, is to ensure that all the recalled and corrective action are reviewed and coordinated by the authority before the implementation. So they have to notify them. And one of the most important clarification is that recall information should not be reported to the vigilance unit. It's separated. So they separate the reporting of adverse events to the vigilance and the recalls to another section. They should be reported to this email recalls at SAPRA. This distinction now separate vigilance, which is, as we said, about adverse event monitoring, from the recalls, which are more about active correction measure. So this ensure that information is handled by the right team and separately. Now, moving to Malaysia, we have 3 important updates. First one, maybe you have already heard about it. It's a big news this month. It's about Malaysia-China Reliance Program. The second one, medical device registration. And the third one is about registration with an expired ET certificate. So, first one. This is an announcement that was issued by the Malaysia Medical Device Authority on the 13th of July of this year. It's introduced, this is a pilot phase of a new regulatory alliance program between Malaysia and China. The program runs for 2 months from July to from July 30, and then run during August until the end of September. It is jointly driven by MDA Pre-Market Control Division with publication support from the Corporate Communication Division. So this is a very important program that represents a global first reciprocal regulatory reliance initiative under the Global Harmonization Working Party. So it's built on the Memorandum of Understanding signed in November 2023 between Malaysia and China. And the core of this arrangement is the mutual recognition of regulatory decision for IVD devices. It is focused on IVD for now, reflecting strong bilateral trust and regulatory cooperation. So again, it's a pilot program running during July and August of this year. During August and September of this year, and it is focused on IVD. So the pilot phase has clear objective, is to improve regulatory efficiency, shorten approval timeline, and accelerate market access for eligible IVD devices. So ultimately, the aim is to provide patients and healthcare system in both Malaysia and China with the faster access to the market and effective and high quality diagnosis devices. Now, for Chinese-made IVD, to qualify under the pilot, they must enter Malaysia through the verification pathway. Manufacturer must be located in China and own their facility directly. Eligible devices are Class 2, approved by provincial authority, or Class 3, approved by the NMPA. Third-party brand owner are excluded. Priority will be given to application involving rare disease or innovative technology, and each applicant is limited to 6 submissions. Now, for Malaysian-made devices entering China under this program will use the green channel pathway. Manufacturer must be based in Malaysia and directly own and operate their facility. Eligible devices include Class B, C, or D devices approved by the MDA, similar to Chinese submission. Third-party brand owner are excluded, and each applicant is limited to 6 applications for this pilot program. The process for Chinese devices entering Malaysia is outlined in details in this guidance. So first, a licensed local authorized representative must be appointed. The AR submits the application to the MDA, which screens for eligibility. A designated conformity assessment body then conducts the verification. And if the review is successful, the CAB issue certificate and the report. And the AR then files the device for registration through the MedDC system. Approved devices are listed in the Malaysian register for a 5-year period. So a detailed documentation package is required, and the authorized representative must hold a valid establishment license. Quality management must be proven through ISO 13485 or equivalent standard. The common submission dossier must be complete, covering device description, etc., design, labeling, and post-market surveillance also plans, declaration of conformity, and so all these details are listed in this communication. So this program is a landmark in medical device regulation. It is the first, as we said, the first reciprocal reliance program under the GHWP framework. By reducing duplication, so it will save time and fast access to the market and will strengthen the cooperation between these two countries. Second update in Malaysia is regarding the medical device re-registration for medical devices. So this announcement was issued on June, by the 5th of June of this year. It was prepared by the Pre-Market Control Division and uploaded by the Corporate Communication Division. So this document provides an updated instruction to all the stakeholders on how and when to submit medical device re-registration application. Let's see. So the key reminder here is that all re-registration application must go through this system, this online platform. Importantly, the system opened up the registration function exactly 1 year before the existing certificate expires. This gives a full year to prepare and submit the renewal. Now, a major point emphasized is system automation. Once your current certificate expires, the system deactivates it immediately. At that point, no registration can be submitted, and it's automatic. Even if you had already started a draft application but failed to send it in time, so it will be deactivated. This will strict enforcement. Now, moving to the third update in Malaysia, we are presenting the latest updates regarding how expired AC certificate will be treated for new medical device registration in Malaysia. So even if the AC certificate, this is in line with what happened in many countries. So you might be familiar with those requirements. So even if the EC certificate has expired, the MDA will temporarily accept it for new registration, provided it comes from the legacy directive, of course, and is validated by a conformity assessment body. This is not a blanket acceptance. This is the device must still comply with the legacy directive, as we said. It must not have undergone significant design or proposed changes. And most importantly, it must not pose an acceptable risk to patients or users or public health in general. So to straighten this process, manufacturer must submit supporting documents. These range from letters of derogation, notified body confirmation, audit report for QMS compliance, or evidence of pending certificate processes. So kind of balancing flexibility with the safety. In Thailand, we have two interesting updates. First one, regarding smartwatch, how they are classified, when will they be considered medical devices and when not. And the second one is related to license and notification renewal. So this was an infographic that was released by the Thai Food and Thai FDA or Thai Food and Drug Administration. It comes to detail which smartwatch function fall under medical device regulation in Thailand, and this was issued on July. So the Thai FDA infographic clearly state that smartwatch feature used for diagnosing health condition such as monitoring disease related abnormalities or supporting treatment planning are formally classified as medical devices. Even familiar measurement like heart rate or oxygen saturation may fall under this category, but only if intended for diagnosis purposes. If used just for fitness tracking, they are not classified as medical devices. In contrast, function that contribute to wellness or daily habits, but not disease diagnostic, again, are not regulated as medical devices, as we said. This includes sleep analysis, stress measurement, exercise reminder, etc., as you all know. It's also excluded measurement like blood pressure, glucose level, only when they are clearly for general information, not had a diagnosis. So the same feature, if they are clearly for health diagnosis, it will be medical device. If they are not, they will just stated there for general information. This is not medical device. The authority specified that whether medical function is built directly into the smartwatch or added later via a downloaded app, it falls under medical devices regulation. So both hardware, integrated feature, and so we are talking about what is already included in the smartwatch and what could be uploaded later. Now, for the license and notification renewal in Thailand, this announcement was published in the end of July of this year by the Thai FDA. And it mentioned that stakeholders should note the strict annual renewal window from October 1st to December 31st of each year. During this 3-month period, all renewal application, whether for licenses or notification, must be submitted via the Skynet system only. This is through this online platform only, and no alternate route are accepted. 3-month. Renewal requirement depends on how the device was originally registered. So devices under a full CSDT enjoy a streamlined renewal. Submit, pay, and renew automatically, but HIV test kits are subject to one additional step, providing a product analysis report. Now, on the other hand, devices that were registered through partial 1 or partial 2 routes face a more involved process. The applicant must submit a supporting document, and the renewal review actively consider any adverse event report filed over the last 5 years. So to summarize, this table captured the critical differences in renewal pathway. Full CSDT device holder enjoy a near seamless process, while partial 1 and 2 holder must prepare comprehensive documentation and expect scrutiny of past adverse events of the last 5 years. In China, our last country today, the update is related to innovative and priority approval medical devices. So this notice from the authority was issued on April and it is introduced two new implementation rules. The first target devices applying under the innovative pathway, while the second focus on priority approvals for urgent clinical needs. So the first set of rules covers special review of innovative medical devices. These are products with new mechanism or breakthrough that address unmet clinical needs. The rules emphasize closer communication with the reviewer and earlier technical guidance, helping company align R&D with regulatory expectation. And finally, the second set of rules relates to priority approval application. These are for devices urgently needed in clinical setting, such as those for tackling major diseases or emergency. So by prioritizing review resources, the goal is to bring life-saving technology to market more quickly. Thank you. Any questions? This special meeting for the end of summer. And yes, Gabi.
Hi, man. Thank you for the presentation.
Hello.
It was very interesting. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I have a question about Sri Lanka. Now that with the consolidated dossier and the manufacturing site registration, is it mandatory also for foreign manufacturers?
Yes, it is for both,
Okay.
foreign and local.
Okay. Okay. And now, since I understood that you said that the whole process is managed through a single submission, so how about the deliverables? Is it a single license that's obtained through that process, or two licenses, one for the product and one for the manufacturer?
No, this is like as we said, this is a dossier, but it has several steps. So the applicant first submits first the FMSA or manufacturer state registration is released. The authority notify by email the applicant and send the applicant a scanned copy of the approval. After that, they activate in the system, they activate the option for the product registration submission.
Okay.
So first they have to wait for this. Once released, they activate this option and you can submit the product registration submission.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I got it now. Thank you.
So it's not simultaneously. It's like follow only after the manufacturing set registration.
Okay, so it's one after the other.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hello. Yes, we have another question from Carlina, please.
Hi, man. How are you? Yes, I have a question about the Sri Lanka too.
Good, thank you.
And okay, what about the sample import license? When is it required?
Well, the sample is the one is it's an permit to import the samples for evaluation. This is issued after the approval of the manufacturer and state registration, and it is required just before during the evaluation of the product dossier. If it is if the authority consider that it is necessary to do an evaluation, should be imported. So it is during the product registration dossier can be
Okay.
submitted. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, man.
You're welcome, Carolina. Okay. So thank you so much. It was very interesting today. I would like to highlight this pilot program from between Malaysia and China. I think there's another one between Singapore and Malaysia that we might discuss next meeting. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today, and see you next month for more updates.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you, Iman. Bye-bye.
Thank you.